Ask yourself this. What is the difference between Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan and Anik Zahad from Tower of God? Well, this question actually has a hidden premise that I have to address first. That is that it assumes that Eren Yeager and Anik Zahad are different. Aside from the obvious fact that they are two completely different characters from two completely different shows with two completely different character designs, because if I'm going to make a full video about these specific characters, I'm going to be looking for something much deeper. So, as evidence of their difference, I am going to be pointing to their reception. Specifically, if you were to look back at the forums from back when Attack on Titan Season 1 was airing, one constant criticism you would hear about the show is that its main character, Eren Yeager, is boring. On the other hand, if you were to look at the reception of Anik Zahad right now, as the first season of Tower of God airs, you'll find that she is consistently beloved among her fandom. So clearly there is something fundamentally different about the writing and presentation of these two characters that makes the audience's reaction to them so different. And to find out what that is, we have to answer two other questions. Who is Eren Yeager? And who is Anik Zahad? And what I mean by these is outside of what we get from reading each show's respective synopsis, is how do we learn who these characters are? How do we experience them? Let's start with Eren. Eren Yeager is a boy who lived with his mother until she died. The entity he blames for her death are the Titans, and as a result, he makes a vow to slaughter every Titan in existence. He decides to join the military, and during dinner, he tells his fellow recruits why he wants to kill the Titans. Late at night, he makes more close friends and he tells them about his resolve to kill the Titans. He eventually becomes a full-fledged soldier, the Titans attack, and Eren is discovered to have Titan powers. He tells higher-ranking military officials about his resolve to kill the Titans so they don't kill him. He saves Trost. He then convinces the Scout Regiment to take him in by telling their leaders about his resolve to kill the Titans. They go on a mission, and I think I'll stop here because I have more than enough to prove my point. But first, let's quickly go through Anik's story so I have something to contrast with. From the moment she is introduced, Anik is shown to have an abrasive personality. She doesn't talk much, but shows a determination to climb the tower for a cause. Her sword is consistently referenced, and it is shown to have the same symbol as Bomb's sword, a sword that he had received from a princess of Zahad. In the crown game, when Anik finds out about Bomb's sword, she gives up her chance of victory to confront him, showing pure rage towards him. She then tells him that she is a princess of Zahad. Later, as she passes Androsi's cell, recognizing who is in it, she shows a face of rage. Androsi later tells us that she is also a princess of Zahad. During their downtime, Anik treats Androsi very aggressively, showing a constant disdain for her. Eventually, Androsi pins Anik down and gets the truth out of her. Anik tells her that her parents were both killed by the princesses of Zahad, and as a result, she wants to kill all the princesses of Zahad. So what we end up with is two characters who have abrasive personalities, who both lost their parents, and who both have a vow to kill everyone within the entity responsible for their deaths. We have two revenge stories that get vastly different responses from their respective audiences. At this point, you may have some idea about what makes Eren and Anik so different. Some of you may say that they are different because Anik's motivation was revealed later than Eren's, and maybe that does explain it. Maybe for revenge stories, creating build-up and then having the revenge as a reveal is a better format. So I wouldn't entirely disagree, especially since, given my channel's title, you know that I'm a huge Naruto fan, and I think that the format worked pretty effectively with Sasuke. However, I don't think that's the key difference between Eren and Anak. Some of you may also say that the difference is in how each character's motivation adds to the story, by creating a diversity of motivations. And I can't entirely disagree with this either. One problem in Eren's motivation in Attack on Titan is that it isn't entirely unique in the context of the show. Titans are a pretty universally hated entity, and as the show goes on, other characters gain just as much of a justification for their hatred of Titans. In the context of Tower of God, Anak's motivation for killing the Zahad princesses is actually pretty unique and works counter to a lot of others. As a result, she adds a chaos factor to the show. In Attack on Titan, I would make Anak more akin to Erwin, who wants to learn about the world's history, or Pixies, who wants to maintain order. However, while her addition to Tower of God certainly makes the story more interesting, and in turn makes her an interesting character, it doesn't explain why she is beloved. There's something more fundamental about how Eren and Anak are written that I think truly explains their reception. And the thing is that I already revealed the answer to you. When I was summarizing the journey of Eren, I didn't once use the word show. And in fact, I found myself using the word tell a lot. And in the case of Anak, I used the word show multiple times. And this is the fundamental rule of writing that I think was missing from Season 1 of Attack on Titan that made Eren such a boring character. Throughout the first season of Attack on Titan, Eren didn't show much agency and instead followed orders from others, essentially getting carried by the plot. And instead of having Eren act on his motivations, he would just constantly inform those around him of his resolve. In Tower of God, we are always seeing Anak act. We see her behave in ways that are abnormal, but are unique to her. And in episode 6, when we finally learn who she is and what she wants, we not only believe it, we feel it. It strikes us so powerfully because it fits so seamlessly with who she is and the person we experienced her to be. Now I know it's obvious that my summaries of the shows were heavily distorted to prove my point, and my point really is more about where these shows lean when it comes to the application of the show don't tell rule. Anak does have to eventually tell the audience about her motivation, and with Attack on Titan, some of the best moments of Season 1 are those moments when Eren does actually act on his emotions and make decisions for himself based on his resolve. And moving beyond Season 1, we actually see the reception of Eren change to becoming more positive. And I think it's largely because we see the density of scenes where Eren is showing his character change with it. And without spoiling the manga of Attack on Titan, I will say that the reason Eren's character is more popular than it has ever been is because this writing rule has been pushed even further as the show concludes.
He